Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Tech Allstars podcast. On this week's episode, I've got Hendrik Ungelenk from the ESP Marketing Network. They are the team behind the event to be held alongside ISPO in Munich on the 2nd and 3rd of December. The event is called Sport Marke Medien. The event brings together leaders from the topics of media, brand, commercialization within sport, all under one roof. As I mentioned, it happens alongside ISPO on the 2nd and 3rd of December. Hendrik talks about what the event is about, what kind of speakers, A-list names will be at the event, and how you can participate if you're interested. Hope you enjoy the episode. All right, welcome to the show, Hendrik. I want to know all about ESP marketing, the events that you're running, especially the event coming up alongside ISPO in Munich. So we'll get to that event, but first I want to know about you, a little bit about the ESP Marketing Network, and then, of course, about Sport Marke Medien. So tell us.
Yeah, so thanks for the welcome. I'm Hendrik Ungelenk. I'm 30 years old. I'm living in Munich, and I'm since 2019 already at the ESP Marketing Network as a team lead of the conferences. And as you mentioned, then also project manager of the upcoming event, Sport Marke Medien in Munich.
Good stuff. So let's get right into it. ISPO is one of, let's say, the biggest sports events happening across the globe. And I know that you guys have been running this track at ISPO for, I don't know how many years, but I know for a few at least. What exactly is the objective of the track? What do you hope to achieve with the Sport Marke Medien track within ISPO?
Yeah, you can say that it's always the question about why you need another sport business conference again, like in Germany also. And therefore, we believe it's again time to create another or a new platform, you can say, with a new approach that offers a stage for the entire scope of the sports, not just soccer, not just tennis, like to see the whole wide of the different sports and to rethink the sport business a little bit. And in our opportunity, or in our opinion, it was just at the moment a little bit of a lack of an exchange across those various sports you can find. And like finding a meeting of, you can say, media, the sponsors and the brands, and also the suppliers. They're, of course, on site because of the ISPO. And there to find like a common platform for them, especially in the DACH region. That's also good to have something in Munich, because it's very close to all of those three borders, you can say. And therefore, our purpose was with the ESP and the ISPO, what I think is still one of the leading international sport good trades affairs with over 80,000 people. They coming there to this exhibition. And therefore, we try to join our forces. And both partners already work together on a longer history, you can say. And therefore we are launching it again, and you can say we go back to the roots with this event and with this conference, because in 1998 we already started with the sport marketing platform and this event, what is later known then as the SPOBUS, and it started all in Munich at this time, and now it's just our time again to get back to it and to find another platform where the sport organizations, the right holders, the brands, and so on come together on this new platform.
So the main topics that are on the agenda, let's say for the audience and also the speakers, are around brand, marketing, commercialization, right? This is not a general sports business conference where you talk a little bit about the money and let's say media rights and stuff like that, but you're not going to talk about performance, shall we say, or on-pitch stuff. It's mainly off-pitch business, but especially focused on, as I mentioned, media, marketing, brand, commercial, all of those topics, correct?
Yes, exactly. You can also say we are having a 2-day event. It's like the 2nd and the 3rd of December in Munich. And we are focusing on the first day on media and the brands. And therefore, of course, we are having more like focus on the brand management, the focus on the media rights, and therefore different discussions and program points. And on the second point, or the second day, we have more the focus on management and events. So different sports who have different challenges, of course, and big events like you can say some bigger events that are challenging some different topics, and therefore we try to figure out that we have those different main topics on both days. Yes.
Interesting. And I was just going to mention that the event is on the 2nd and 3rd of December.
Yep.
I think ISPO is from the 3rd to the 5th, if I remember correctly.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys start one day earlier, but
Yes.
all within the same venue, correct?
Yes, you can say, or you can imagine it like there are very big halls at the
Right.
Messe Munich, of course. And the ISPO himself is more in the halls where you have a lot of exhibitions, areas, and booths. And it's like very directly, it's at the ECM, it's the International Congress Center of Munich. So you can say we are a little bit separated from them. So we have own rooms, own areas where we have our booth and our exhibition part. And of course, we have our stages there, like 6 stages in total with those different topics. And you can just move and sit there, what's interesting for you as a participant.
Makes a lot of sense. So I guess the call is for anybody who's interested, anybody who's listening, who is interested in coming for the event, get in touch with Hendrik or even myself, because I will be at the event and we can pass on the contacts. I think it'll be a really interesting one. Before we dive deeper into the kind of topics, and I want to see, let's say, what is actually on the agenda, who are the kind of speakers that we're talking about, I want to take a step back to also establish the context of your ESB Marketing Network, which is, let's say, the power behind the event. What exactly is the ESB Marketing Network? And you mentioned sport-based. Like, what are all the activities that the ESB Marketing Network does?
Sure. So just to give a brief overview, the ESP Marketing Network is one of the leading business platforms with now over 600 partners in the German-speaking part, like the DACH region, you can say, and especially for the decision makers in the field of sport or sport sponsoring, entertainment, and marketing in general. And we, as the ESB, we offer our partners know-how, high-quality contacts with our network, attractive communication, of course, in the B2B reach, and everything on the basis of annual membership, you can say. And what are our main topics? They're, of course, like the know-how, as I mentioned, therefore the congresses, the forums, the panels, the seminars we are offering, where you can just get more about trends, about new innovations, about best cases of brands or sport clubs. And another point is the contacts, like we are using, you can say, a matchmaking service to get in touch with relevant parts of companies or sport brands or new collaborations with us in a very targeted manner, you can say. And communication, therefore we support our partners in the presence of the B2B reach with our partners over digital channels like LinkedIn, like our homepage, where we can public or use some insights, some case studies, some successful stories with your brands, with your customers to get in touch and increase your reach.
Got it. Maybe there are some successful use cases of the ESP network that you can highlight where you've connected, let's say, some brands with sports organizations or, whichever the case may be.
One thing is, for example, it's a brand asset management tool. It's Frontify, where you can just link everything over one tool. And we connected them with Borussia Dortmund together. Now they're using their case to get a one-in-all platform where to get like a constructive view of the brand, BVB, the logos, and how they want to see from an outside perspective. That's something what we collaborated, you can say. And another thing or example is the European Handball Federation, EHF. And they collaborated with WeSound, and they are making some audio branding tools, like how a brand could be heard, and like with a voice identity. And therefore we connected them, and they are now working together in this kind of voice marketing, you can say. And it's a nice, cool project, I think.
Very cool. How does the network function? Is it a paid network to join, or is it free and then you charge based on just the connections?
Yeah. You can say that our membership, or how we work with the model is a paid membership. It's an annual one, and it depends on how big is your company or your agency. Then you can decide between a personal membership up to a 5-person membership, where on all of our events, 5 different employees could join. And the personal one is just you can join the events and nobody else of the company. And therefore the price range is a little bit different, depends on the package.
Got it. So let's say the agencies, brands who are trying to reach the sports industry, they're primarily the ones who are paying, probably not the sports teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And I should also mention, because I receive, of course, all your emails and I read them, but my German is not very good, so I always have to translate them.
Yes.
This is primarily a German language driven network, but most, if
You
not
can
all,
say,
people speak English. Yeah.
yeah, our focus is DACH region, so Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. And that's also just the countries where we are organizing our events and conferences. Of course, we are also, when you also look at the Sport Marke Medien program, there are, of course, also English-speaking slots and program points. But you can say it's around about like 10 or 15% of the whole program, what just takes place in English. And yeah, it's mostly, you can say, for the German-speaking countries and people and companies, but still, hopefully with the Sport Marke Medien conference, we're also getting a little bit more international. As you can see, there's also like La Liga, AC Mailand or Juventus Turin on site, so it's also getting a bit bigger and also outside of the DACH region to reach to other companies and clubs.
Yeah, it's a perfect segue into coming back into the event. I'm actually one of the speakers who are going to be doing a session in English, so I'll try to add to that international value while also brushing up on my German and getting to meet people over there. So maybe you can speak to us a little bit about that. Now we can come back to the event and talk about the content. I mean, we've already covered it at a broad level.
Yes.
That, yeah, these are the topics: media, commercial, then event and management on the second day. You already mentioned some names from the international side, Juventus and so on. Can you walk us through a little bit about, like, on average, how many speakers there are, how many participants there are, some of the other key names that will be available at the event?
So for the first time with the Sport Marke Medien, we have now in total, as I mentioned, the 6 different stages. We have run about over 250 speakers. So it's already also a lot of speakers there on site on those 2 days. And then we have around about 40 panels or forums, you can say. They take place on those stages. Normally one panel or one forum is up to 90 to 120 minutes, where you have different interviews, discussions, and program points inside of it. And we are also having around about 24 different sports on site, from tennis to motorsport to golf to winter sport. So it's really different sports you can see there on site. And it's in total more than 60 hours of program. So yeah, that's something just to take out the numbers. And the conference itself is with the focus on the brands and the media topics. And there on the first day, to just mention some names, we have from the media perspective, ARD and ZDF. We have something like the Motorsport Network. They are very strong in this motorsports section, or Dyn Media. They're also on site, taking place with a program point. And they're discussing topics like media rights, the future of the media, and sport communication. And on the other hand, as I mentioned, the brands, we are also having brands such as Puma, Scheffel, the outdoor brand, Lidl, Allianz as an insurance, or AXA and Fissmann. And they all present, of course, like the sponsorship part, the strategies, how could the activations in this concepts look like. And in addition to those program points, we also provide some, we call it cast sessions. It's like a podcast session, to offer the participants like a deep dive into one topic, just one topic, and for 45 minutes. And it should just, be like an interview format where you have a moderator and the expert, and they talking to one topic a little bit more into the deep, and you can ask them questions as an audience and to provide a little bit more knowledge of those industries. And on the second day, as I mentioned, like it's more the topic to management and events. We are having also very wide spectrum of the sports, and they're more like the club, the associations, the leagues, and event agencies taking place on site. And there, you can also say a lot of clubs like Carsten Kramer with Borussia Dortmund is on site. We have Nuremberg. We have the big Rhein-Ruhr activities. That's one of the biggest agencies. They're providing a very, very big event at the moment and preparing it. And there also takes place a lot of the winter sport organizations and motorsport topics on this day, for example.
Cool. And how many people are attending the event?
Yeah, it's around about 8 to 1,000 people, like 800 and 1,000.
800 to 1,000. So it's a good size. I mean, like it's not too big. You're not going to get lost. I mean, because ISPO, I think you said, what is it, 50,000, 80,000, whatever that number is?
To 80,000 in this whole exhibition. And also, if you look up at the halls, there are so many booths and exhibition areas. So it's very overwhelming, of course, at the first sight. And you also have a very big focus also on the Asian part. So they're also very strong. The ISPO with China, India, and so on. So there are also those companies there on site. But that's not our main focus. So that's just more on the DACH region.
I mean, that's the main reason I've always stayed away from ISPO, because those big mega conference, even like a web summit, it's just too big. You tend to get a bit lost. So, 500,000, even 2,000, like those are much tighter, easier.
Yes.
Can't call them intimate, but they're stronger value proposition. All right, Hendrik, thank you for setting the context, I think, really well, talking us through what the event expects to cover, the kind of participants that you have. Can you talk to me through a little bit about last year's event? Maybe some key highlights that you had, some key takeaways that were of value that you were able to share with your network as a result of the previous event.
I mean, you can say that this event, Sport Marke Medien, is the first time we are organizing it.
All right, yeah, of course. But I mean, you have smaller events, of course, that you'll have done before, right?
Yeah, that for sure. Like, we also now with this event trying to gather different topics together at one point and not having very small events, which just, for example, was digital sports entertainment in the last year in Berlin. So we're trying to get these topics now gathering together into one bigger event. That's why we decided to have it like in Sport Marke Medien. And also for us, it was just very important to locate something in Munich, because it's just good to reach to Austria and also Switzerland as a participant.
Makes a lot of sense. When you're planning an event like this, what are the main issues that you face in terms of setting the context for the agenda, getting the right topics? Because you want to find topics that are really current, that are really top of mind, right? How do you get to that? What are the main issues? Or is topics already kind of ready and getting everything else in place is the bigger challenge?
I mean, there are, of course, a lot of, I could say, issues, but different things you have to solve, some problems for sure. Of course, the content, like the program, is one big part of the work, where you have to figure out what are interesting topics for the audience that nobody heard like second or third times already. What are new projects that need to be seen on the stage? And of course, how you create good content with the partners together, because we often work very strong with our, we can say, forum partners. They are creating this forum, this panel, like 90 or 120 minutes together with us, trying to get their partners also involved. And that's always something we are always like trying to get the best out of it for us and also for the partners. And therefore, we can say we have like a content program file where we are collecting all of our ideas, and then we are just figuring out what is priority 1, what is 2, what is 3. And therefore, we are starting our requests to the topics, to the speakers. And then after all, step by step, you can see that then at the end you have this big program, and you can see then what you need to figure out, like what should be parallel to each other, what isn't that similar to each other, that you don't want to have like 3 panels with Web3 all at one point, so that you have the topics they are not replicating each other and are very far away from each other. That's something that's always also very difficult to find, especially when you have a lot of speakers. And of course, also always when you achieve something new, to start something new as a conference, there's always questions about the location themselves, the organization on site, the creation of advertisement areas, of how the people can orient on site to make sure that nobody is asking where's stage A or stage B, and they just, know that everything should be fine for them. That's also something you always look and find good solutions for it.
Good seamless experience, right? That's what you want to deliver for
Yes.
anybody in
Yes.
the audience. Specific to the topics, our topic as Sports Tech X, and especially for our audience, is primarily around tech innovation, like the future of sports, shall we say, and around investments
Yes.
around this topic as well. So where's the kind of follow the money is always our agenda. How does the conference focus on these topics? Like I know that there is focus because I will be doing a session around investment in sports technology and innovation, and I know you have a separate section. So walk us through that. Like, so around tech and innovation and investment specifically, what are the areas and maybe who are the speakers that we can expect to hear from?
So with the topic of tech and data, you can say that's also one of our focal points on the program. And there we have, for example, different panels. They named like Invest in Future. We have AI boosts content, for example, also something with the Future Lab Sports, or where data is a very big issue in this forums, like how you can turn data into value, for example, fans, data, and how you can create growth with it. That's also some topics we have in our forums. And there we have, for example, topics with discussions about internationalization of leagues and clubs, how you can engage Gen AI, how you can create cross-selling potentials, for example, in merchandising, or also crypto and blockchain. As to mention some speakers, we have Bitpanda as a partner. They have a focus on this topic of crypto and blockchain. We have some investors that are taking place, where we have Carsten Schmidt, who's one of our speakers and moderators, and he's talking with the NFL Germany, for example, about investments, how they can create, what are the next steps. We have the European Olympic Committee on site, Special Olympics also, the DUSB, the DFB, of course, and also La Liga, and they are all like talking about those things, as you said. Where's the money going, and what they're trying to reach in the next couple of years with those leagues.
Yeah, super interesting. Should make for a cracking conversation. If I can ask you personally, what areas are you most intrigued by or looking at, either at the conference or in general around the sports industry? What tech or investment trends are you especially keeping an eye on?
I mean, at the moment, of course, AI is still one big thing where everyone looks up. We already saw some very good stories or projects they are using, for especially in the sport clubs, but also especially all around the different sections, like also without the sport, like other brands, they're using AI really strong. And it's always interesting how this will end, or how this will develop, for example, how the people were using it, how the brands, how the sport clubs will get to it, and how it will just be a big part, I think, in the future of our whole work in this industry. That's something I'm always looking up, and you can also see already some nice cases there also will be shown on our program, of course. I think that's but it's most interesting for me. Of course, the last time it was a lot about this metaverse and Web3 thing. What you can say already is now done, or especially in the most of it is, it's not that current, like one of the big topics anymore. But now I think with these things, like the AI can show how we can create content, how we can involve with the fans, and that's something what's I think is, like, for me personal, also very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's definitely top of mind for the sports industry, how to deliver a really high quality fan experience and what are the different tools that we can use. AI plays a big role in that, whether Web3 and Metaverse. I mean, we keep going through hype cycles or virtual worlds. I prefer to use that term, go through high cycles with this, but it's going to play a role at some point. So just to stay on top of all of these trends. All right, fantastic. Hendrik, I think we're going to publish this episode with probably about 2 weeks to go before the event or something like this. So I'm sure it's busy time for you and the team. But if there is any chance that you can look up, apart from what is right in front of you, what is coming up next for ESP Marketing, or in general, over the next 12, 18 months, what can we expect after the Sport Marke Medien event?
Yeah. So, of course, first of all, then total focus on this event, and afterwards, then hopefully this will start successful. Then for like the next year, you can say like 2025, of course, focuses on growing our network still, like with the ESB partners. That's very important for us to just achieve that. And of course, that our events will grow also. Like main focus, consolidating them, that they can grow. You can achieve more participants, improving the marketing, of course, also of those events. That's something what we're trying to focus on in the next year, because with our 10 to 12 B2B events per year, it's not our aim to always get new ones. It's also very important to just make them, what we already have, more stronger, make them more relevant, and just to get them successful going on. That's something that's very important, I think, for the next year to say.
Fantastic. If I want to see an events calendar of everything that you have coming up, where do I see that?
You can see at our homepage. It's esb-online.com. And there we have one topic that's called conferences or events. And there you can see like also the timeline of the events, what takes place the next, and what's in 2025, when it takes place. And also all of our conferences, they have our own homepage where you can look up at the program, the speakers, the topics, and other information all about the events. So yeah, that's pretty
Fantastic. So best place to get in touch is, you've already mentioned, the website. And if you want to come for this event, for SSM, I don't know, are tickets still available for sale? I should mention that if you come for SSM, you also get a ticket to ISPO, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. When you get to our place, Sport Marke Medien, you will also have entrance to the ISPO, a 3-day ticket, then to them. That's always included into our ticket. And you can book it also at the same day, honestly. So it's always open to get a ticket on our homepage.
Yeah, exactly. There's no limit on the number of people, I guess, that can attend. So if anybody's interested, it's never too late. You can just log into the website, or I think we will be sharing some details in our newsletter as well. Hendrik, thank you so much for all the information. If somebody wants to reach out to you for any more questions, what's the best place to do that? Your email or your LinkedIn?
Yeah, both is good for me. You can also just hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can write me email. On our homepage, it's also my contact details all is open. You can just watch them, or we can find a way to just reach out to me, but that's the most easiest way.
Super. We will drop all of those links in the show notes. Thank you once again, Hendrik, for taking the time to talk to us about this event. I'm really excited, looking forward to seeing you in Munich and having really high quality discussions. One last question before I let you go. It's my favorite one to ask. I always believe we are sports fans first. So I want to know, what has been your favorite sporting moment?
For me, probably my most sports moment was when Dirk Nowitzki won the NBA championship in 2011. I think, for me, it was always just a role model of athlete, the guy, and he was very down to earth. So I was very happy that he won this. After a couple of years, he was already in the league. So it was a nice end for him, and also nice story for the German basketball fans.
Yeah. I can imagine, if you're a basketball fan, must have been a huge thing here in Germany, especially him winning the MVP before and getting knocked out in the first round and then coming back against the Heat, who were by far and away the favorites. And for them to take it down, huge moment. Fantastic, Hendrik. Thank you for sharing, and look forward to seeing you in Munich.
Thanks, you. See you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that is a wrap for another episode. And if you plan to be in Munich, come definitely look us up. Hendrik and I will be there on the 2nd and 3rd at the SSM event, and also following up at ISPO and stuff. So if you're going to be around, give us a shout. Links in the show notes to buy tickets, or just get in touch with us and we'll help you out. All right, see you guys in Munich. Otherwise, see you next week. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Tech Allstars podcast with Rohn Malhotra. If you like our show, let us know and leave a review. And if you want to know more about us, check out sportstechx.com, where you can find our latest industry reports and updates. For a deeper dive into all things sports tech, check out our comprehensive database, Sports Tech DB, at sportstechdb.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us at Sports Tech X on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Join us next time for another insightful conversation with a leader in sports tech.